So actually, not many people know that, and we haven't spoken about it much in the public forums. The story goes back obviously 8 years. We realized कि market में 99 है, magic है, housing है, common floor था, India property था. There were 5 large incumbents.
Yeah, I believe yours is the largest that exists today in India, and it's very fascinating. I'm going to come to each and every one of them in our conversation.
Probably served us right, has continued to serve us right, is accepting that we can't do it all.
Growing up, I loved watching David Dhawan movies. Remember? Hero number 1, जोड़ी number 1, बीवी number 1. इन सब फिल्मों में ढेर सारा प्यार होता था, बहुत सारा मसाला होता था और थोड़ी सी टकरार भी होती थी. It made you laugh, it made you feel happy about life itself. एंड हर फिल्म में बहुत सारे चीजें एक साथ हो रही होती थी. बहुत से लीड कैरेक्टर्स एक साथ अपना बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस दे रहे होते थे. Today's guest that we have reminds me of those David Dhawan number 1 films. With 17 co-founders by his side, without doubt, the co-founder of Square Yards and our guest today, Tanuj Shori, is a man with a Midas touch. And without doubt, he carries a tag of number 1 like no one else. In his sector, technology में वो number 1 है. Revenue में वो number 1 है. अगर टीम साइज की बात करो तो 8,000 लोगों के साथ रियल एस्टेट की सबसे बड़ी कंपनी भी है. नंबर ऑफ होम्स सोल्ड इन द लास्ट ईयर, येट दे आर द नंबर 1. सो रियल एस्टेट ट्रांजैक्शन की टीम नंबर 1 को रिप्रेजेंट करने वाले और इस आइडिया की शुरुआत करने वाले, जिनका नाम है तनुज शौरी और वो स्क्वायर यार्ड्स के को फाउंडर हैं, उनसे मिलते हैं और जानते हैं स्क्वायर यार्ड्स के बारे में कुछ ऐसी कहानियां जो अभी तक किसी ने नहीं सुनी और शायद इतिहास के पन्नों में शायद कहीं छुपी हुई है. तो उनको आज हम साथ में लाते हैं, उनके साथ बातचीत करते हैं और समझते हैं कि स्क्वायर यार्ड्स की जो जर्नी है वो कैसी रही और आगे वो क्या करने वाले हैं. सो लेट्स वेलकम तनुज शौरी.
So Tanuj, welcome to Sleepless Rangers. I am so glad that you took time and you came down to do this engagement with us. And rest assured, मेरे पास बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन हैं आपसे पूछने के लिए. And one company I keep talking about to most of the people, जो मुझे लगता है जिन्होंने एक फ्यूचर के हिसाब से काम किया and ये जो पूरा ट्रांजैक्शन एक्सपीरियंस था रियल एस्टेट का, उसको फिक्स करने की कोशिश की. And that's you guys. Square Yards has tremendously grown in the last few years. We all have been witness to it. And I'm pretty excited to ask all the questions that I had in mind. Please do not mind कि मैं जितने क्वेश्चंस पूछूं प्लीज पेशेंटली जवाब देते जाओ. ओके, सो वेलकम टू स्लीपलेस रेंजर्स वंस अगेन. ग्लैड टू हैव यू हियर.
Thanks, Govind. My pleasure.
ओके, सो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम द वेरी स्टार्ट. जो मैंने कोशिश किया जानने के लिए, ऑनलाइन पढ़ा, इंटरव्यूज देखे, बट मुझे जानना था यार ये जर्नी एक्चुअली में शुरू कैसे हुई.
So actually, not many people know that, and we haven't spoken about it much in the public forums. The story goes back obviously 8 years. As most of the career professionals, I tend to tell people at some point in time, Maslow's theory will hit in your life.
Yeah.
Marginal utility of dollar will collapse. You won't feel the kick out of getting up out of bed every morning. I think that happened roughly around 2013-14 for both Kanika and myself. I used to be in China very often because I used to cover China consumer. Used to spend a lot of time in Shanghai and Beijing pretty much once every 2 weeks. Not many people in India have heard about or speak about a company called Lianjia.
Okay.
They're huge. They were huge in 2012. They're very large now. This year, I think $10 billion revenue. They got listed in New York.
Wow.
Went up to $100 billion market cap before the entire China collapse happened. But again, rewinding back to 8 years, 9 years back, they were almost 40 to 50% market share of Shanghai and Beijing.
Wow.
Every second real estate transaction happened through that platform. Asset-light platform. But it was not just about the real estate transaction.
Yeah.
What they had been able to build over the last maybe around 15 years was the entire consumer journey plugged end to end.
Okay.
The consumer went to the platform, searched for the properties there, did the transaction with the help of the platform, took the mortgage from the platform.
Right.
And the core thing which struck me and Kanika both was, if someone could crack a similar demographic market, a large fragmented market like China,
Yeah.
why is no one doing that in India? And we practically had zero idea about PropTech.
Okay.
I come from equities background. I have covered ironically every sector
Right.
apart from real estate.
Wow.
We had never met any developer in our lives. We had zero background when it comes to real estate. So 2013 was the first time we looked at the space in India. We looked at the incumbents, who was doing what. We were amazed that pretty much everyone on the street was trying to solve for just search and discovery and nothing else. There is a large market, transaction market, which was untouched, fragmented market. Actually, not just in India or emerging markets, you go to any market globally, you'll realize that the search and discovery is barely 2% of the revenue pool of the overall industry. And that's the start of the consumer, very important part of the consumer experience, but it's just a start. What happens to the consumer experience after the consumer has searched for a house? No one was solving for that. And that was a starting point for us, effectively.
Super. So I'm going to ask a very important question here. कैसा है कि 2013-14 जो आप टाइमलाइन बोल रहे हो उस टाइम पे इंडिया में पैरेलली भी कुछ और मूवमेंट चल रहे थे, राइट? हाउसिंग वाज ऑलमोस्ट ऑन द सिमिलर टाइम एंड मुझे अगर जो याद है मैं जस्ट रियल एस्टेट शुरू किया था एंड सपना तो सबका होता है, राइट, कि ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करनी है, बट सबसे पहले लगता है डर कि यार 99 एकर्स और मैजिक ब्रिक्स तो इतने सालों से है एंड हम जो करेंगे तो वो फटाफट उठा लेंगे, राइट? या हम वो इतने बड़े हैं, उनके बाद इतना ट्रैफिक है, हाउ आर वी गोना बीट देम? तो व्हाट इज द जीटीएम, तो गो टू मार्केट स्ट्रेटजी आपने ऐसी क्या ली? सिंस यू सेड कि आप रियल एस्टेट से थे भी नहीं, तो आपने वो तैयारी क्या की और जब मार्केट में शुरू किया तो वो पहला स्टेप, दूसरा स्टेप, तीसरा स्टेप क्या था जिससे आपको लगा कि नहीं यार हम यहाँ पे तोड़ने आए हैं, तोड़ के जाएंगे?
No, you're totally right. And this was early 2014. We realized कि मार्केट में 99 है, मैजिक है, हाउसिंग है, कॉमन फ्लोर था, इंडिया प्रॉपर्टी था. There were 5 large incumbents who were solving the market at the various execution levels. It didn't make sense for us to be the 6th largest or 7th largest player. तो हमने बोला कि सर्च एंड डिस्कवरी को साइड पे रखते हैं, करेंगे. We need to solve for the consumer experience. We'll come to that. उससे पहले we need to build a sustainable, viable business. We looked at the transaction primary platform. We realized it's a totally fragmented market. किसी डेवलपर को प्रॉपर्टी बेचनी होती है, whether it is any city in India, they would need to engage with tens of thousands of independent agents. Not consolidated agency. Globally, real estate is an agency agent model, like insurance in India, but not in India. Luckily for us. And then we realized why would a developer talk to us? हमने आज तक कुछ नहीं किया लाइफ में. Just one fine day, couple of people walking into a developer's office and meeting a promoter and telling him कि please हमें inventory बेचने दो. We don't have a distribution workforce. We don't have a consumer acquisition platform. And there the GTM for us was the NRI market. We went to the developers. We told them everyone wanted to go offshore. Not many stakeholders had the avenues to take them offshore. We told them we will help you distribute your inventory in Singapore, in Hong Kong, in Dubai. And that was a door in for us. I think what we did fairly well over the last 8 years is when we got a door in, we used that to build opportunities in what exactly we wanted to do. We didn't limit ourselves to being an NRI. NRI is probably 10% of our business today. We used that opportunity to build the traction with the developers to build an onshore business. We focused on that onshore business. We use that onshore business to build a mortgage business. We use that mortgage business to build the home renovations business. And so on and so forth.
And आप लोग ने जो backward forward integrations किए हैं, जो मैं आपसे आज discuss करूँगा, and that is pretty much one of the largest ecosystem right now. I can say that apart from one company which is fairly there with Anuj Puri sir and Arad, which is building an ecosystem. I believe yours is the largest that exists today in India, and it's very fascinating. I'm going to come to each and every one of them in our conversation. But let me talk about the element that you talked about, कि independent agents, right? So मुझे ये जानना है कि independent agents की जो opportunity आपने देखी, क्योंकि आपने एक Square Connect करके एक platform launch किया. Why did you do it? How much do you think in the future they are going to play a role into your business model going forward?
Huge. I think one thing which probably served us right, has continued to serve us right, is accepting that we can't do it all. We realize, and even though we have been fairly confident on our execution capability in wanting to win the market, but winning the market would still be, let's say, a 10% or a 15% market share. There would still be an 80% market which will be fragmented, remain fragmented for a very long point in time. Run and managed by the stakeholders, independent brokers, agents. And at that point in time, we thought we don't want to be their competitors. We don't want to go and threaten them and tell them that we will gonna take away their business. Let's partner with them. There are certain skill sets we bring to the table.
Yeah.
Consumer acquisition, for example, ability to distribute primary in large tranches across cities.
Yeah.
But there are certain skill sets which they bring to the table, like hyper-local presence. If we ever need to crack the secondary market, and we will need to crack the secondary market,
Right.
ठीक है, India is a primary market, will remain a primary market for the next 20 years. We are not building an organization which will last only 20 years. If we want to build an organization which outlives us, eventually we will need to do secondary.
Yeah.
Not today, 5 years later, but at some point in time we'll need to do.
True.
We can't crack secondary without independent brokers. No one can.
वाओ सो ब्रोकर्स को जब आपने अप्रोच किया मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि उनको एक कन्फ्लिक्ट भी दिखा होगा क्योंकि आज की डेट में अगर मैं देखूं तो यू हैव द लार्जेस्ट टास्क फोर्स ऑन द ग्राउंड प्रोबब्ली किसी भी कंपनी के पास इंडिया में इतना बड़ा टास्क फोर्स नहीं है इफ आई एम राइट इट्स 5500 to 6000 people who are how many 8000 okay so 8000 people on ground and then there's lakhs of brokers of course so उनको दो द कंपनी का विजन है कि यार हम उनको साथ में लेके चलेंगे बट ब्रोकर्स को सिक्योरिटी आप लोगों ने कैसे दी
Here we left a lot of value on the table, and this is where the story of cracking the search and discovery comes in.
राइट
We realized कि the monetization is limited, and
Right.
let's sacrifice that monetization. And we'll find innovative ways to monetize the transaction when we work with the brokers. So हम brokers के पास गए, हमने brokers को बोला कि we are launching our search and discovery, which will be a free listing platform.
राइट
Unlike all the other industry incumbents, we will not take money from you for listing. We will not charge you for leads. आपकी lead आप ही को मिलेगी, आप ही की listing पे मिलेगी,
Got it.
and you will not need to share anything with us. Our only requirement is twofold requirements.
Yeah.
Focus on quality. Since we are not monetizing, so we are not obliged to list a particular asset just because मैंने पैसे लिए हुए हैं किसी
बिल्कुल.
stakeholder से. Your picture quality should be good. You should have exclusive listing,
Right.
so on and so forth, multiple other parameters. As long as that is there, you please
So you
rest
monitor
assured.
the listings correctly कि कोई भी कुछ भी अपलोड कर रहा है तो नहीं जाएगा
नहीं जाएगा.
आपके स्टैंडर्ड
Quality standards are very very high.
ओके
And second, we went and told them कि you control the consumer, like we control the consumer for our value chain, they control the consumer for their value chain. You control the consumer, you control everything else what the consumer would do in that transaction. Why don't you partner with us
Yeah.
for all the other services?
Okay.
And we'll share the revenue, we'll share the monetization pool, and so that's where we benefit your consumer
Yeah.
from your consumer, and you benefit from the range of the services and the ecosystem we have built. So just to give you an example, we launched our search and discovery platform 2 years,
2 years
exactly
back.
2 years back.
Yeah.
Today we are larger than any other incumbent in terms of listings and
Wow.
brokers. 7 million traffic. We're not the largest in terms of traffic, but considering we are 2 years old, we are almost there.
Yeah. You are
But-
third currently, if I'm getting it right.
Fourth, actually.
Okay.
But what I want to highlight in these numbers is today 70% of my, in mortgage, for example, I am doing close to 2,000 crores a month.
Right.
70% of my mortgage business comes from these brokers who list for my real estate listings.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Okay, so now that we are talking about these listings and you also talked about secondary market. So secondary market के ऊपर मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि जो मेरा ऑब्जर्वेशन है प्राइमरी इज अ लो हैंगिंग फ्रूट पूरी दुनिया उसकी तरफ भागी है बहुत सारी चीजें हो रही हैं और आपने कहा कि इंडिया को सेकेंडरी मार्केट में मैच्योर करने के लिए शायद 20 साल लगेंगे मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि why 20 years you believe I would love my viewers to get to know कि यार 20 साल क्यों लगे घर तो मुझे आज भी बेचना है कभी बेचना है राइट एंड किसी भी टाइम पे ये एक प्रॉब्लम ऐसी है जो सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम मुझे लगती है कि घर तो नया खरीदना है तो मैं डेवलपर को कॉल कर सकता हूँ पर अगर घर मुझे बेचना है तो मैं कस्टमर किसके पास जाऊं ब्रोकर कौन होगा तो व्हाई डू यू बिलीव कि 20 साल लगेंगे या टाइम लगने वाला है और दूसरा क्यों सेकेंडरी मार्केट के ऊपर बहुत ज्यादा फोकस कंपनीज अभी तक नहीं है जबकि इफ यू लुक एट द वेस्टर्न काउंटरपार्ट्स दिस इज वेयर दे मेक द लार्जेस्ट अमाउंट ऑफ मनी
and we are lucky कि 20 साल लगेंगे.
Okay.
The answer in that is the urbanization, the biggest theme of this decade, on which every consumer tech story in India is predicated, whether it's a
Okay.
food tech, fintech, e-commerce, ed tech, is rising urbanization.
Okay.
India is 35% urbanization. By any account, in another 20 years, India will hit close to anywhere between 45 to 50%. Has to. US is 80 odd percent urbanized. China is 70 odd percent urbanized. Every developed economy eventually goes through that cycle of from 20-30% urbanization to 70-80% urbanization. Now, and let's take a step back and understand the gravity of these numbers. We are at 35%. If we move to 50%, means close to 300 million people moving into cities in the next 15, 20, 10, whatever number, whatever is your guess is as good as my guess in those years. You assume a family of 4, India will need to build 70 to 80 million homes. It doesn't matter. Their price point could be affordable, the price point could be mass market. It doesn't matter. We are talking about shared economy. Eventually, a house needs to be built.
Absolutely.
Maybe not in top 10 cities, maybe in 100 cities, maybe in 150 cities.
True.
So, because of the sheer size of the opportunity the industry has, thanks to the urbanization theme, the primary will outweigh secondary for the longest period of time. And in Western market, why the secondary is larger? Because they have gone through that cycle. And India will go through that cycle.
This is a new perspective. Nobody has ever given me this perspective, which now looks very solid in terms of how you observed it. Somewhere I missed this, nobody talked about it, but I totally agree there. In terms of secondary market ka jo play hai, why it is not yet picked up.
In isolation, in absolute terms, secondary market would be large enough, would continue to grow. But relative to the primary, it will still be a dwarfed opportunity for the longest period of time.
But it is also to do with the modus operandi and the unit economics. मैं काफी brokers से engage किया तो उन्होंने मुझे बोला कि हमें primary में खुश हैं क्योंकि वहाँ पे launch हो रहा है, हमारी टीम वहाँ आएंगे, 40-50 लोग हम लोग लेकर आएंगे और उसमें से हम 4 तो फोड़ लेंगे, right? अपना तो महीने का काम हो गया, right? But हमने जब उनसे पूछा कि यार secondary क्यों नहीं, तो उन्होंने कहा कि यार उसके लिए हमारा बंदा कहाँ भागेगा, कैसे जाएगा, listing कहाँ से आएगी? That's a very difficult scenario. So do you think the whole logistics play, unit economics is also a reason for it?
Primary is 10x simpler business than secondary. It's much easier business. Secondary is hyper-local, please understand.
Absolutely.
You need to be able to do secondary well, you need access to hyper-local supply, hyper-local demand. India is still not fully regulated. Not every transaction is reported. There are leakages in the business. In primary market, there could be leakages as well, but at least one end of the supply chain is an institutional player. And you could control. And in secondary, both ends are retail, which makes a difference. Globally also, there are agency agent models. How do they operate? Is agency works as a compliance partner. There are distributed agents in various micro markets. In our traditional terms, एक agent, एक broker, एक particular building का ख्याल रखता है. And any particular inventory coming in, inventory going out is the responsibility of those 1 or 2 agents. Primary helps you centralize the business. Like I could be working on a launch in South Mumbai in 1 month, in Thane in second, with the same distribution team. In Thane in the 2nd month, in Andheri in the 3rd month. And that luxury secondary market doesn't provide.
Wow. So, Tanuj, हमने secondary market की बात कर ली, आपकी journey की शुरुआत की बात कर ली. Now let me come to present. कि अभी अगर मुझे आपसे पूछना हो कि आपकी journey में आप कहाँ पहुँच गए हो, right? अगर ये marathon है, it's a 100 के रेट पे अगर मुझे करना है तो आप 10 पे हो, 20 पे हो, 30 पे हो, 50 पे हो, कहाँ पर हो और यहाँ पे इस मोमेंट पे आप क्या नंबर्स अचीव कर चुके हो एंड आपको क्या लगता है कि वो 100 पे पहुंचने का जो नंबर है ना, जब आपको बोलना है यार अब मैं रिटायर हो रहा हूँ, नेक्स्ट टीम आती है वो उसको आगे ले जाएगी, तो वो जर्नी के बारे में आप थोड़ा बता पाओगे करंटली कहाँ हो फ्यूचर जर्नी के हिसाब से?
Govind, if it's a marathon, we are still taking our mark.
Okay.
Not at the end. We haven't started.
Okay.
We haven't scratched the surface, and I don't use this word sparingly that it's day 0. It's actually day 0. The opportunity, like we just discussed about the opportunity, it is so large. It is so large. We are talking about there's a multi-billion-dollar segments. All segments related to one consumer experience. We have not even cracked less than 1%, not even 1% market share in each one of these individual segments. So, long way to go, one step at a time. We believe we can. I think one thing where we have evolved over the last 4-5 years is we know our battles to fight. In terms of which markets do we play, which segments do we play. We don't want to do it all. We don't want to go everywhere else. We know that we need to win particular segments in the market. But how we define winning those markets is still a long, long way to go. In fact, just yesterday I was speaking to my colleagues and we were discussing the same thing. We haven't achieved anything. अभी तक तो कुछ किया ही नहीं. And that is a spirit which keeps us going. We have been lucky to get an insane set of co-founders. I think not many people realize we are one of the largest co-founding teams in the startup ecosystem. 18 co-founders. But I'm proud of the fact that none of us have ever left the organization. None of us have ever monetized anything.
Wow.
from the organization. It's like a cult. Each one of us wakes up with a similar passion, similar drive. And if you could have had anyone else out of those 17 on this chair,
Yeah.
they would have answered the same thing, that we haven't even started.
इस पे मेरा एक पर्सनल क्वेश्चन आएगा बिकॉज मुझे ऐसा लगा कि पूछना पड़ेगा बिकॉज काफी स्टार्टअप्स की जर्नी में सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है गेटिंग द राइट पीपल एंड यहाँ पे आप 18 लोगों के साथ एक साथ एक वो फंडिंग टीम की बात कर रहे हो सो लेट मी टेक दिस क्वेश्चन फर्स्ट सो आपने शुरुआत की फिर ये जर्नी में लोग जो आपके को फाउंडर से जुड़े राइट तो कैसे जुड़े और मेरा जो पर्सनल क्वेश्चन है समथिंग दैट वी कॉल एज फाउंडर्स एग्रीमेंट राइट तो कितना टाइम आप लोग ने स्पेंड किया टू गेट अ क्लैरिटी कि यार इस बंदे को ये चाहिए और उसके जो विजन को हमें साथ में भागना है अगर कि वो डिसअपॉइंट ना हो साथ में चलता रहे मोटिवेटेड रहे और आपने जो कहा कि मॉर्निंग में उठ के हमें वो गोल की तरफ भागने के लिए एक तरह से सोचना पड़ता है इफ यू हैव टू ड्राइव दिस सो वो आपने कैसे अचीव किया
I think partly luck, ability to is the same thing when people have happy marriages. Partly it's about love, partly it's about care, and partly it's about luck. Did you
Yeah.
meet the right person?
Yeah.
Something similar happened to us. I think we met right people along the way.
Okay.
Nice human beings. We all will work together, slog, and we will still want to have drinks together in the evening. I will always believe that if you don't want to have drinks
Yeah.
after spending 12 hours in the office with your colleague,
Yeah.
you're working with the wrong colleague.
Okay.
You're spending most of your day,
Yeah.
most of your time with a particular individual. You have to like that person, and partly because we went around looking for certain set of individuals. So that's where the luck played its part as well. Some of the individuals became very relevant to the ecosystem.
Right.
They became co-founders. Some of the individuals came via acquisition route. But again, to answer your question, we would spend hours and hours with these individuals to understand their thought process.
Yeah.
Are they in for a long haul? Are we actually manning them?
Yeah.
Fast forward 20 years, everything is 20 years for us. We don't think 2 years, we don't think 3 months, we
Great.
think 20 years.
Yeah.
Fast forward 20 years, can we still be enjoying our time with them? Will we still be together? None of us are allowed to retire. None of us are allowed to monetize. We are enjoying what we are doing on a daily basis. We enjoy what we are building. There is an insane drive amongst all of us to be able to create
Yeah.
a very, very different, which has not been done before in India,
Yeah.
organization at a scale, at a very, very large scale, and that drives us effectively.
Brilliant. And I've seen, like, now I've interacted with a few of these 18 at least. And I can see that, that vision, वो समझ में नहीं आता कि यार इन्होंने शुरू किया, इन्होंने सोचा, इन्होंने किया. Everybody is driving with a cause and a purpose and an objective. And that is something wonderful. I will come to that little later when I talk about these acquisitions specifically. But उससे पहले मुझे जो interest है वो जानने में वो ये है कि यार if I read the numbers right, I'm a number person. So मुझे बहुत इंटरेस्ट रहता है यार कि इस कंपनी ने कितना किया, इन्होंने क्या किया. एंड वन थिंग दैट आई हैव सीन कि जो हमारे लेगेसी ब्रांड्स थे स्पेस में जो हमारे सर्च के थ्रू ड्राइव हो रहे थे 99 एकर्स, मैजिक वो अपने वो 200-250 करोड़ के उसमें 4 से 5 साल से वहीं फंसे हुए, राइट. एट द अदर एंड लास्ट 3 years में यू हैव गॉन पास्ट दोज नंबर्स and you're now almost doubling down or tripling those numbers to what they were doing, right? So can you tell me that it is just because कि आप लोगों ने जो ट्रांजैक्शन रूट लिया है उसके वजह से यू आर कॉन्फिडेंट कि यार ये एडवर्टाइजिंग रूट में एक कैप आ जाएगा, यू आर क्लियर एंड ट्रांजैक्शन जर्नी में जाते हैं जिसमें पॉसिबिलिटीज ज्यादा है. एंड ये जो नंबर्स करेंटली हैं, व्हाट कैन वी एक्सपेक्ट आउट ऑफ इट इन 2030? It could be a difficult thing to project. Okay, so I'm pretty sure as a businessman, you guys are definitely having something in the mind. What is that number? And मुझे जो इसी में एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन था वो ये था क्या 2030 में क्या ऐसा टाइम होगा जैसे हमने यूएस में देखा है कि over a period of time Zillow, Open Door, they consolidated the market. Now they have a very good amount of market share of wherever that they are present in, right? Can we have a day in 2030 कि यार ये 2-3 players ने ट्रांजैक्शन गेम को पूरा पकड़ लिया है? तो do you see a future like that?
We'll talk about Zillow, remind me.
Okay.
But so numbers, I'll talk about numbers and numbers tell a story.
Yeah.
But we'll also need to think about what is that story.
Yeah.
So you're right. This year we landed around, we are effectively by far the largest player in the ecosystem. We landed around 600 crores revenue.
Yeah.
Close to 25,000 crore GTV spread across the segments. More importantly, the growth has become easier at the scale.
Yeah.
This year we are growing at roughly 70 odd percent. Last year we grew at 50 to 53%.
Yeah.
COVID we grew when everyone in the industry went down.
Yeah.
Next year we expect another 60-70% growth. We should be able to cross 1,000 crores next year. Very few startups,
Yeah.
consumer tech startups. Forget the PropTech. Very few consumer tech startups in India can boast of 1,000 crore revenue.
Absolutely.
And all this is being done without compromising on profitability. We have been segmentally profitable for 3 years in a row now.
Wow.
But what has gone in to create that is realization that we need to tap the entire consumer life cycle.
True.
Now, whether it's search and discovery, whether it's transaction, whether it is mortgage, home renovations, property management, agent SaaS, prop VR, everyone has a part to play in that entire story. Like search and discovery, we don't monetize directly, but like I just said,
Yeah.
the agents who are listing there are helping me monetize the mortgage business.
Right.
My same consumer who does the transaction through us takes the mortgage through us.
Absolutely.
When the delivery comes, the same consumer is either my property management consumer or
Yeah.
my home renovations consumer.
True that.
The developers who we work very closely with for the transactions eventually became my prop VR clients. Because I had very close relationship with them, I have been able to take home renovations, urban money, and property management mandates with them.
Brilliant.
So this entire story is interlinked. In certain years, based on certain markets, certain segments do really well.
Yeah.
Other segments are playing the catch up,
Yeah.
and vice versa. Like for example, last year was all about my real estate business and the mortgage business going through the roof. This year has been mortgage, home renovations going through the roof. The way we are setting it up, like over the last 3 months, we have seen some serious wins in
Yeah.
prop VR, not just in India. A couple of large Dubai developers,
Yeah.
in Neom, large Canadian developers. We believe we are setting up for a phenomenal couple of years in the next 2 years. We are launching the broker secondary market transaction model.
Okay.
We are very aggressive targets from them over the next couple of years. So everything chips in, plays its own part, but eventually it's an ecosystem which is good.
That's falling in place.
Right.
So you said that you are going to talk about Zillow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we believe what we are trying to do in India
Yeah.
is a very unique model, even
Absolutely.
from the global perspective. Like a Zillow
Yeah.
has been trying very hard for the last few years to build a transaction model.
Yeah.
It's probably the gold standard in search and discovery. No one globally has been able to do a job the
Like
way
Zillow.
Zillow had done.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is Zillow's revenue is only 2% of the overall services pool in US.
True.
US brokerage market is $150 billion.
Yeah.
Zillow's revenue is $2 to $3 billion.
True.
And Zillow realizes that, and Zillow wants to tap that $150 billion market.
Right.
And that is why Zillow has done what it has done over the last 12 to 18 months and still continuing to reinvent itself in trying to break, and I'm sure they will.
Sure.
Similarly, Property Guru in Singapore and Southeast Asia have been trying to do that. REA in Australia has been trying to do that. We believe the future of the PropTech are the blended platforms. Whether you are in India, whether you are in US, whether you are in UK, whether you are in Singapore, or whether you are in Australia. Every search and discovery platform will have to move to the transaction model. Every transaction model, if they need to continue to scale up, will have to vertically integrate and build search and discovery of themselves.
I totally agree there. Because ये जो मेरा पर्सनल कंप्लेन एक रहता था कि पूरे मार्केट से कि जब मैं आया था रियल एस्टेट में कि यार मैजिक प्लेस 99 एकर्स हैंड होल्ड क्यों नहीं करेगा कस्टमर्स को एंड आई रियलाइज दैट कि मे बी शायद उनका इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं था दे आर हैप्पी विद देयर एडवर्टाइजमेंट रेवेन्यू एंड वो जो हार्डशिप है ऑन ग्राउंड का पूरा मैनेजमेंट क्रिएट करने का उनको मैनेज करने का दे डिडंट वांट टू गो इनटू इट एंड दैट इज वेयर आई फेल्ट दैट कि यार what Squareas is doing is definitely respectable. It's a tough business. It is not an easy task कि आप 8,000 लोगों को motivate करो to get to the ground, to find those customers and make them buy home with you, right? So now आपने ये चीज के बारे में डिस्कस किया कि एक इकोसिस्टम बन रहा है. I'm going to talk about that ecosystem here now. Can you briefly give us a little bit of an idea कि Squareas का जो विजन था घर की जर्नी में हैंड होल्ड करना है कस्टमर्स को उसके आजू बाजू में जो बैकवर्ड और फॉरवर्ड इंटीग्रेशन आपने किए वो कौन से समय पे क्या आया और क्यों आया
We have already discussed real estate came first. The most natural extension was कि a particular individual or consumer has bought a house. Consumer needs a mortgage. and we realized first port of call was कि हम mortgage market सीखें कैसे. And mortgage we didn't want to do not just because of the consumer ecosystem. Mortgage was also playing a significant role in the pace of my real estate transaction. So it was impacting my real estate business.
True.
We wanted to understand that business. When we started getting into that business, we realized that this is as fragmented as real estate. Again, a very singular, narrow-minded focus से agencies ने build किए हैं mortgage DSAs.
Yes.
No one has tried to, and India has seen a lot of fintech.
Absolutely.
But most of that fintech action has happened in the unsecured market, not in the secured market.
True that.
The reason is because to understand the secured market, you need to understand the real estate, and no one had built real estate business large enough to be able to crack that.
Wow.
So we saw that on the one end of the spectrum, there are, without naming them, there are large lead generators on the secured mortgage business. On the other side of the spectrum, there are large offline agencies.
Right.
No one has been trying to marry them, and this is where we went.
Can you give one name each in dono market?
Let's not take the names,
Okay.
but I'm sure everyone
Where does
knows.
Andromeda sits in for you here? The other offline, right?
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
And but eventually, again, the consumer experience has to be blended in both, and which is what we went after targeting. Again, the numbers because I'm also a numbers person.
Yeah.
Today, 2 साल पहले we used to do 300 crores a month. Today we are doing 2,000 crores a month. Based on that, and we still believe we haven't started there. The market is huge.
Yeah.
But combining both, the biggest variation was, now my consumer acquisition has become much more critical than ever before. When I was just doing real estate, I could be the lead aggregator. I could go to a 99 acre, I could go to a Magic Bricks and buy leads like everyone else does.
Absolutely.
But once I want to control the consumer chain, I need to own the consumer experience.
True that.
I cannot onboard a already broken consumer experience and try and fix that. That consumer experience has to rest with me right from start to the finish. That is when we started building the search and discovery.
Wow.
So in everything, the thought process has been that experience, but how we have done that has been a function of looking at the market, what exists, how can we disrupt the status quo at that point in time, and how do we monetize? Maybe directly monetize, but indirectly monetize as well through the platform. But the realization, so like for example, home renovations, you have already seen a couple of large players. A lot of people ask me कि यार चलो बाकी सब समझ आ गया, आप home renovations क्यों कर रहे हो? Why are you going and trying to compete with a lift space or a home lane?
Absolutely.
My thought process is कि वो मेरा consumer है. मेरे consumer ने मेरे through ही transaction करी है, मेरे through ही mortgage लिया. I understand the consumer trusts me enough to spend 70 lakhs on his real estate asset. Trust me enough to give his or her financial documents to me.
True.
I control that experience. Or let's say I influence. Control is a very strong word, but I influence that experience. The biggest variable for any home renovation business in India is the consumer acquisition cost.
SCAC. I was coming to that.
The consumer acquisition cost practically zero. And yes, there's a new market. I need to learn supply chain. I need to learn execution. But again, nothing is rocket science in this world. Which is what we did. And first year of operations, we have designed close to 1,500 houses. And my CAC is less than 2% of my revenue. This is the lowest CAC in the industry. We are positive 25% gross margin. None of these players have been able to achieve that in the first few years of business. So we are on the right track, and that is when I have still not solved for the supply chain fully yet. And I'm getting better every single day in learning that business. But that business could become one of the most interesting and larger businesses for us in years to come. A natural extension for that was कि ये तो वो consumers हैं जिन्होंने खुद move in करना था, उन्होंने renovations करा लिया. Then the larger problem was the landlords जिन्होंने घर rent पे देना है, and they deal with a broken experience. They deal with tenants, they deal with something going on in their house. So one of my favorite companies globally, they've built a very large property management business globally in Brazil. Okay. We understood their model. We learned what they did right. And property management is not facility management. Is not going and managing this entire building. Property management is Govind owns 2 assets in let's say a Mumbai and a Bangalore. You are on my digital platform. My thought process and logic and objective should be you should never need to interact with the tenant. It should be a pure end-to-end digital seamless experience. Wow. So we acquired a platform, Azuro, amazing founders, amazing set of founders. They came in, they helped us scale significantly. Today we manage close to 1,500 houses. growing every month, and this becomes a very, very serious business once you are managing 10,000, 20,000 properties. It's a SaaS business effectively. It's a cash annuity
and
business.
it's all recurring.
It's all recurring.
Yeah, absolutely. So currently जो आपने mortgage business की जो बात की वो है Urban Money.
Right.
फिर हम आए इंटीरियर कंपनी में, right, which is doing the interiors, and then आपने Azuro की बात की जो प्रॉपर्टी मैनेजमेंट कर रहा है. तो ये तीन चीजें हमें समझ में आ गई. इसके आगे क्या?
So this is the B2C side of it, where the entire transaction consumer experience is covered, but the end of that is a very large B2B layer. Now that B2B layer is how we are interacting with the developer. What are we solving in their lives apart from selling their properties? What are we solving in the life of a broker? What are we solving in the life of a bank? And that is where two more assets came in, PropVR and PropCMC. So PropVR, again, the common theme, brilliant set of founders. We loved them to the hill. We wanted to marry them. We quoted them and we were able to marry them. What they brought to the market was a significant tech play, which thanks to our relationships, thanks to our large distribution, we were able to monetize better.
Absolutely.
So we were very, very clear that they offer something on the entire panorama which we will not be able to build ourselves.
Right.
But we didn't acquire them for revenue. We don't acquire any asset for revenue. It is more about the capabilities, it's more about the capacity, and then we bring in our execution capability, capital, so on and so forth to help them scale.
Right.
Now, like I mentioned earlier, PropVR is practically the star of the portfolio.
Absolutely.
In the next couple of years, it could be a very, very serious 100 crore plus individual business in itself.
Why the B2B play itself?
Pure B2B.
Wow, lovely, super. So for the audience, PropVR deals into staging the homes into an interactive format with the help of 3D and into the metaverse, ecosystem. And जिससे अगर आप अपने घर को physically नहीं देख पाते, तो इस platform के through you are able to visualize everything in a very seamless manner. And that is what PropVR Promise is all about. Is there anything I'm missing on PropVR?
That is the starting point.
Okay.
The journey becomes very interesting when metaverse gets involved.
Got it. Could you elaborate?
What we believe the future of search and discovery in real estate
it's shifting.
3D.
Yeah, 3D.
If one asset class which needs 3D more than any other asset class is real estate.
Real estate.
Now imagine a year down the line, you want to search for a house in Mumbai,
Yeah.
in Andheri, your avatar walking on the street in Lokhandwala.
Yeah.
There is a virtual replica of buildings on the left and the right side,
Yeah.
and you will be seeing the listing pop-ups there.
Yeah.
We built that tech, we have patented that tech. In fact, we are launching that as a beta version in the next couple of days, and we are going live with a market like Dubai in 3 to 4 months.
Absolutely.
So that changes the rules of the game. That effectively puts the search and discovery on a very, very different pedestal.
Absolutely. So मैं ये चीज टीम के साथ डिस्कस कर रहा था एक बार कि यार बहुत ही बढ़िया GTM यहाँ पे भी आप लोग करा कि दुबई एज अ मार्केट टिपिकली there are a lot of expats buying into this properties, right? तो अगर मैं लोकल कर रहा हूँ इंडिया में केवल एग्जीक्यूट जहाँ पे लोकल एब्जॉर्प्शन बहुत ज्यादा है तो लोग फिजिकली बहुत रहना पसंद करते हैं पर यहाँ दुबई एज अ मार्केट इज अ प्योर एक्सपैट्स ड्रिवन मार्केट फॉर द प्रॉपर्टी बाइंग एंड wherever they are sitting this would be one of the best phenomena for them to see where their home is going to come, how it is going to look, and wishing you a super luck for this launch of yours. Now, can we move to the next you quoted, PropAMC? Can we discuss a little about it?
Data. And I think the more we talk about data, we'll always be falling short of the importance of data. One key issue with Indian real estate has been, continues to be the data transparency.
Right.
And which is what we want to solve. So PropCMC could be divided into 2 parts, 3 parts rather now. And that's again an example of how we have been able to leverage amazing set of founders, platforms to be able to do something more. First set is the data transparency, and which is what we were the first B2C platform which were able to streamline every single data record in most of the cities in India and didn't monetize, put it out for free for the consumer experience when they want to search for a house.
And so this is for residential and commercial both?
Yes. So residential mostly because commercial is not exactly a retail clientele.
Right.
But in residential, for example, in Mumbai, you want to go search for a house and you will go to the property name. You'll be able to very transparently see the last 10 recorded transaction prices.
Absolutely.
Which we believe was the need of the hour. It happens everywhere else. In most of the developed market, it doesn't happen in India. but it's a matter of time. I think these things will become very democratic in India.
Absolutely.
That was the one part of it. The second part was data analytics. Like how can we use data to guide our consumer better? And which is what we have been trying to build various capabilities over the last year since the platform came in terms of our recommendation engine, heat maps, trying to filter that data, trying to tell the consumer that this is a better micro market, this is a better project, this is a better asset. This particular developer is selling at a 20% premium, doesn't deserve to be. This particular developer is selling at a 10% discount, doesn't deserve to be.
Right.
And we want consumers to use data before they take these decisions. Last but not the least, we realized that we, as a Prop CMC platform, have amazing product structuring capabilities.
Okay.
On the other hand, the erstwhile square yards had a very large distribution workforce.
Okay.
How did we marry them? We brought in Fraction. We realized that every retail consumer who we go out to for residential assets want to diversify. Now these retail residential consumers typically cannot afford to own large commercial assets, but they want to own high yield assets. So we structured the Fraction products, and it's a very recent business, 3 months old business. We have just had one of our biggest successes, 100 crore plus portfolio distributed in less than 90 days.
Wow.
Using the distribution flows.
Wow. And this retail customers who are investing on PropMC platform, the options that they are getting is only in residential, or it's also going to happen?
It's predominantly commercial.
It's of course, because of the yield being more there.
Yes.
Okay, I get it. So Tanuj, आपने ये पूरे इकोसिस्टम को हमें डिस्क्राइब किया. मेरा खुद का पर्सनल क्वेश्चन जो है वो ये है कि यार व्हेन वी रन अ बिजनेस, ये तो हमें समझ में आ गया कि आप एक जगह से कस्टमर्स आपको जो एक्वायर कर रहे हो तो फिर उसको आप छोड़ना नहीं चाहते, जिसकी वजह से आपको सबसे बड़ा बेनिफिट हो रहा है कि आपको कस्टमर एक्विजिशन कॉस्ट जो काफी सारे बिजनेसेस में काफी हाई जाता है, फॉर इंटीरियर कंपनीज टिपिकली इट कैन गो एज हाई एज 10 to 15 to 20%, जो आपने 2% में रोक के रख दिया, एंड वहां से आपकी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी के चांसेस भी बढ़ जाते हैं, जिसकी वजह से आप शायद अपनी जो ऑफरिंग है उसमें भी कॉस्ट ऑप्टिमाइजेशन अच्छा कर पाते हो. पर मेरा पहला क्वेश्चन इसके अंदर ये है कि ये आपस में ये जो इकोसिस्टम आप डेवलप कर रहे हो, हाउ डू दे टॉक टू ईच अदर इन द बैक एंड इन द ऑफिस? ये कस्टमर आया, कस्टमर को ये पहुंचाना है या ये ऑफर देना है, हाउ दिस सिस्टम ऑपरेट्स? इफ आई एम योर कस्टमर, मैं घर खरीद रहा हूँ, पर कौन से मोमेंट में मुझे अर्बन मनी के बारे में पता चलता है, कौन से मोमेंट में मुझे पता चलता है कि आप इंटीरियर कंपनी में भी हो, राइट? सो ये आपके जो प्रोसेसेस हैं वो कैसे हो रहे हैं? फिर आज आपने कहा कि PropMC में थर्ड अपॉर्चुनिटी आ गई है, तो आई एम प्रीटी श्योर यू आर लेवरेजिंग दैट अपॉर्चुनिटी टू मेक मी अवेयर कि भाई PropMC में भी हमारे पास कुछ है, कल को फ्यूचर में थोड़ा पैसा आए तो फील फ्री फ्रैक्शन के थ्रू इन्वेस्ट कर दो. तो how is this getting operational at the back end?
A large part of credit goes to our internal ERPs. We don't talk about this much often because we don't monetize it.
जो आपने खुद बनाया.
जो खुद बनाया. We don't go to the external audience and try and monetize that. But the fact remains that for 4 years, my 100 people technology team, day in and day out, worked on these ERPs.
Right.
I'm proud to say that we probably have built an ERP much better, much deeper, much more inclusive for this space than even Salesforce.
Wow, that's a tall claim there.
We have, and trust me, I stand true to that claim.
Lovely.
This has allowed us to effectively monetize, remonetize, touch point at the right direction, at the right journey points for each one of these individual businesses. And then uske baad, part of that is obviously tech, and part of that is each one of these businesses are effectively a separate businesses for us. So we don't treat them as ancillary business. So we are not a real estate play who is just doing mortgage क्योंकि उनके consumers को mortgage खरीदनी थी.
True.
When we started doing Urban Money, it is very, very clear we want to build the largest digital mortgage platform in India. When we are doing the home renovation business, we want to build the largest home renovation business in India, and same goes for certain discovery and other businesses. Internally, हमारे बहुत famous quote है that if we don't believe we can be the largest, by far the largest player in the next 24 months, we don't get into that business. It might be mighty lucrative, it might be 100 crore revenue or 500 crore revenue. We will not get in there if we cannot be the largest player.
Profitability इसका भी इसके अंदर आता है कि क्योंकि 2 साल में अगर मार्केट शेयर ले पाते हैं तभी हम प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी भी फटाफट अचीव कर पाएंगे. Is that the thought process?
That's like today, for example, my real estate businesses and mortgage businesses are profitable. I'm still burning money on the new initiatives, but most of them are less than 2-year-old businesses. profitability is very near and dear to it, and consumer acquisition plays a critical role, like you mentioned. But again, at the back of, so since we are not funded by large amount of VCs and all that, we don't have a peer pressure per se. We don't sacrifice growth, but at the same point in time, we don't sacrifice profitability. अगर हमें लगता है कि growing at 50%, we can be break even. We will grow at 50%. We will not grow at 100%. But if we believe there is an opportunity for a 75% growth and we could still maintain unit economics, we'll aim for that 75%.
Super. So आपने फंडिंग की बात की, मैं वहां पे भी आऊंगा, पर उससे पहले आपके कन्वर्सेशन से मुझे एक चीज और समझ में आई जिसके बारे में मुझे थोड़ी क्यूरियोसिटी है. ये क्लियर हो गया कि स्क्वायर यार्ड्स इज बिल्डिंग अ इकोसिस्टम जहां पे कस्टमर्स को घर खरीदने की जर्नी में जो भी जरूरत पड़ती है सब करने का आपका तैयारी है, एटलीस्ट मूड तो दिख रहा है, राइट? तो अब जहाँ पे आज पहुंचे हैं 2023 है, जैन है, कैन यू टेल अस कि ये इकोसिस्टम में आपको क्या लग रहा है कि और कौन से एंगल्स हैं जो शायद आपको फिक्स करने पड़ेंगे? ये मैं इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ कि काफी सारे प्रॉपटेक फाउंडर्स हैं, कुछ ना कुछ बना रहे हैं, उनको समझ में आ जाए कि यार हम ये बना रहे हैं, स्क्वायर यार्ड्स की जरूरत है, आपके साथ कन्वर्सेशन हो सके.
Part of the answer goes back to what I said earlier. I think we have realized how to pick our battles.
Okay.
We have, like for example, we have very politely said no to commercial real estate.
Okay.
Commercial leasing.
Got it.
We don't want to get into what JLL does, what CBRE does, what Cushman does. It is not a retail market.
True that.
We consider our market as a retail consumer, and retail consumer को life में जो चाहिए, we need to provide for that. Similarly, multiple other asset classes we have said no to, and like we won't become a developer, whatever happens.
True that.
We will not become a manufacturer. Our capabilities is distribution, asset light play, a leverage play. Same goes for mortgage. And we will not deviate from that. So we don't decide on the business expansion based on the monetization. We decide on the business expansion based on how does it fit in. So even though we do a lot of things, there is a method to the madness in that lot of things. So to very bluntly answer your question, we believe we have ticked every box where we want it to be.
Okay.
From here, from 2023 to 2027, let's say a 5-year journey, is scale. Doing more of the same. Can we get to double-digit market share in each one of these subsegments? Can we build each one of these businesses large enough that if needed, they can be spun off into different business units in themselves?
Wow. So that means कोई जो स्टार्टअप्स हैं उनको लग रहा है कि यार ये पोटेंशियली हम ऐसी चीज बना रहे हैं जो आपके इकोसिस्टम में फिट हो सकती है. You are not open anymore for that.
Yeah. If they are building an interesting tech, interesting capabilities, we are.
Okay.
We believe that is where a lot of those skills are not replicable.
Okay.
And like I said, we have always been suckers for the founder mindset. I can hire someone and try and do the same job, but that individual may or may not work up with the same passion a founder does.
Absolutely. So इसी से रिलेटेड एक क्वेश्चन है जो मैंने एक बार बीच में नाम लिया एनालॉग का, जो एक इकोसिस्टम बना रहा है, राइट? They are doing quite a few things from their point of view, and one of the positioning that they have is कि वो एक mandate business के फॉर्म से गए, आप लोग एक रिटेल के फॉर्म में ज्यादा दिख रहे हैं. कल को पॉसिबल है कि we can see Square यार taking mandate की डेवलपर का इतना माल हम बेच देंगे इतने टाइम में? Is it possible?
See, never say never.
Okay.
Indirectly we do that. We don't do that at a large distributed way. But effectively, wherever we work with the developers, our precondition for working with the developers is that there cannot be any mandate partner involved.
Right.
The reason we haven't invested enough resources, bandwidth there is we are using the same amount of bandwidth capital to continue to create a larger B2C business.
Right.
We believe consumer is a differentiator. My ability to own the consumer is a differentiator.
Right.
And we are going all guns blazing in ensuring that we don't lose that edge.
Got it. So जो आप लोग का जो टिपिकल एक टीम के साथ जो इंटरेक्शन है उसमें ऐसा है कि जो प्रोजेक्ट्स पे मैंडेट कंपनीज नहीं है आप वहां ज्यादा फोकस कर रहे हो, पर अगर कस्टमर को एज एन ऑप्शन दिखाना है वो घर जहाँ पे कोई मैंडेट कंपनी है तो आप वहां लेके जाओगे. But that is not your focus project.
That is not mine. That is less than 10% of my business.
Okay. So now let me come to a very important section of our conversation, जो है बहुत ही difficult word for PropTech industry. It's called funding, right? तो इसलिए कि काफी सारे PropTech entrepreneurs हैं जिन्होंने ये चीज फील की है कि यार VCs are not usually very much easily attracted to this space. हमारी पुराने कर्मों के नतीजे हैं शायद जो हुआ इस इंडस्ट्री में, एंड क्योंकि वो अगर हम यूएस की बात करें तो वहां पे बहुत एक्टिव है. पर इंडिया की बात करें तो यार यहाँ पे तो लोग छूना भी नहीं चाहते हैं, right? But in this all scenario, you did something amazing, and one of the largest money that has been raised in this ecosystem is by you guys as well. So मुझे पहले ये जानना है कि यार ये फंडिंग का जो पूरा प्रोसेस है वो कैसे हो रहा है, आप लोगों ने कैसे किया, एंड व्हाट डू यू थिंक इन द फ्यूचर, व्हाट इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी इन दिस स्पेस, डू यू सी एनी लाइट एट द एंड ऑफ द टनल नाउ कि नहीं यार ये अब चेंज होने वाला है?
No, you're right. Lot of investors don't want to touch this sector,
Right.
Even with a 5-foot yardstick. And most of this is sector के कर्मों का नतीजा
Yeah.
over the last few years.
Yeah.
We believe, and I'm not speaking for the sector, I'm being very selfish.
Yeah.
We believe that has played in favor of us.
Okay.
It gave us time, opportunity to make mistakes without much competitive intensity.
Right.
See, एक तो investors, and I'll come to the investors and how we raised capital. On the other side of the spectrum are the smart entrepreneurs.
Right.
A lot of entrepreneurs chase capital as well.
Absolutely.
Now, because the sector was not well funded, has not been well funded, I believe a lot of smart entrepreneurs have not gotten into this business. They still want to build tech, they still want to build fintech, they still want to build e-commerce. No one wants
I
to build
agree.
PropTech,
Yes.
which is the best thing which could have happened to someone like us. Specifically in the bear market, where we were not worried and we have not been worried. Yeah, if we take 2 years to execute this, कोई और आएगा और जल्दी कर लेगा.
Got it.
Because we know that there are not many people who are wanting to do that. So that has helped. B, I think where we got lucky, and we've raised just to share with the audience, we've raised close to $140 million.
Wow.
Dollars over the last few years. But the beauty of this has been $110 million of retail capital. Now, when I say retail capital, this is smart money. These are GPs, LPs or private equity funds, public market funds, successful entrepreneurs, large founders, global founders, putting in their personal checks. So means we have been able to communicate the story very well.
But that's 110 million.
That's $110 million.
That takes a huge amount of network.
Huge amount of network. Our success rate has been almost 90%. If you meet 10 smart money people, 9 invest.
Wow.
And
what are the ticket sizes, typically, if you do not mind telling?
So they've ranged anywhere from $150,000 to $5 million.
Wow.
A lot of our investors are multi-billionaires in their own right. They could practically write a check of 20 million if they want, and they do that for a lot of other startups. They're typically LPs in a lot of funds. Decision makers of the funds are our shareholders. This is not very different from how Nykaa got funded in the early years. So again, partial success of Nykaa, partial success of what we have been able to do, kind of makes at least it has been relatively easier capital. Stress-free capital, long-term patient capital. Like हमें pressure नहीं है कि उन्हें 7 साल में exit लेना. These are the people who understand businesses. These are the people who understand the industries. They have backed us in multiple rounds.
उनका खुद का पैसा है, so they are not managing someone else's money.
And more importantly, they act as significant sounding boards. They've been there, done that, seen that. A lot of our strategic initiatives have come out of coffee conversations with a lot of these individuals.
Wow.
I believe, I think a lot of us believe that every founder would love to raise this kind of a capital if they had access to this capital.
कैसे access मिलेगा इसका?
I think there is no right or wrong formula for that. A lot of this has to do with background. Like I came from capital markets.
Right.
A couple of my co-founders came from capital markets. We knew a lot of right people, and that opened the doors. I think one thing which we did very, very smartly was when we were young, we never went to VCs.
Got it.
Without naming, out of top 20 VC funds in India, we have never met 16 ever till today.
Wow.
They don't know our story. We have flown under the radar per se. Why we didn't meet the VCs? Because one thing which we learned in our capital market days is equity is the most expensive thing in the world. You don't sell equity for anything. Even if when we went and raised capital with the retail individual, we structured the capital. Most of these individuals converted into equity, but they did not come as an equity holder on day one. These were structured instruments which allowed us to dilute less. So at the startup our size, all founders put together, we still own 55%, which is relatively one of the large shareholdings any startup could claim for the founding set. So we are very happy with the way it has gone. We have always believed capital is a commodity. For good businesses, capital always comes. If you're building a good business, capital will chase you. You should be in a position to chase what kind of capital you want. And obviously, the core metrics of the business should be good. Like, for example, internally, we now are going on guns blazing that we need to be cash flow profitable over the next couple of quarters.
And that is to do with your future IPO plans?
Exactly. So we won't go and file papers unless we can run the business through our own capital. And we are not very far from there, those milestones.
Wow. That is pretty much interesting. Can you break down your numbers here that currently आपने कहा कि 600 करोड़ आपका revenue होगा ये साल का. You have a good presence in Dubai market as well, right? So how is this India market vis-a-vis the other market contributing to this 600?
India is 80%.
Okay.
Bulk of our bread and butter is still India. I think that has also been a result of last 3 years getting refocused on India, that India is a market we really need to win. We could practically spend the next 20 years and still continue to grow at 50% in India. So that continues to be the focus. I think that percentage will continue to go over the next few years before at some point in time we will diversify again globally. But when that will be after we believe we have won India. We don't think we have won India yet.
So at any point of time ऐसा लगा कि जो international players हैं जैसे REA है, right? These guys have tried to approach you कि why don't you join our larger network so that we are prepared for a global play in the future?
Can't disclose a lot of conversation, but so we have made our stance very, very clear over the years that we want to be independent. We, like I said, because none of us are building this for money. We didn't need to do that. I think I was significantly much more cash flow positive when I was working as a banker. So we didn't need to do that. So the only reason, and when we started this conversation, part of the reason why we are so passionate about the opportunity is we believe it's not every single day you are the largest player in the largest sector in one of the largest economies. It's not every single day your competitive landscape is thin. Not every single day you are sitting at the cusp of the opportunity which India offers in terms of urbanization. And not every single day you are able to raise the kind of capital we have raised and build the business with economics we have built. So at this point in time, opportunity cost was different in every year. But fast forward 8 years, at this point in time, the opportunity cost we have, and the execution team we have, the competitive intensity we have, if we don't build $100 billion business, we would have done something horribly wrong as a founding team.
Wow. ये सोच के रात को नींद अच्छी आती होगी यार हम लोगों ने सही तो किया है कुछ, right? No, absolutely. So Tanuj, now let's come towards the last section of our conversation today. And I truly must tell you that I've enjoyed every bit of it. There's a lot to learn. There are 2-3 new dimensions that I have got. I believe I have to look at the whole ecosystem from that lens. जो ये क्वेश्चन है वो मेरा बहुत फेवरेट क्वेश्चन है क्योंकि इसमें आइडिया यही है कि जो हमारे जो इनिशिएटिव है स्लीपलेस रेंजर का वो ये है कि यार इतनी मेहनत प्रॉपटेक इंडस्ट्री कर रही है और उसके फाउंडर्स कर रहे हैं और वो कहानी लोगों तक पहुंची नहीं है. हम चाहते हैं कि और प्रॉपटेक एंटरप्रेन्योर्स डरे ना, right? The success stories also go out. VCs should look at it. कि यार ये कहानियां हैं क्या? तो मेरा क्वेश्चन बहुत सिंपल है. You have to tell me 2 startups from India into the PropTech domain which you love, you admire or you are following. और वो companies वो नहीं हो सकती जो आपने already acquire कर ली है.
Very, very difficult question. क्योंकि if I was in absolute love with any such couple of startups, we would be talking to them. We would be trying to. We would be talking to them. Like I said, I'm fond of people who are building amazing tech. More than anything else. I think once you have a good platform, everything else can be learned in terms of how you build the business, how you monetize the business. I think one of such startups met recently are doing a great job on the architecture designs and everything is SnapRoot.
Yes.
They're doing really. I'm big fan of what they're building, how they're building. A lot of other controversial names I don't want to say in a public platform.
Okay.
Can I say a global name then?
Feel free, sure. I usually do not allow, but I'm going to give you since you already said कि जो होता है मैं खरीद ही लेता है यार या उसमें acquire कर लेते हैं हम लोग, but so I'm going to give you the liberty.
I briefly mentioned this company called Quinto Andar, Brazilian.
The Brazilian company.
What they have been able to build in a very, very fragmented, similar market as India has been amazing. I think because we are doing the similar, we learned from them and we are trying to execute that. It's a very hard business.
ऐसी क्या complications हैं?
It's a property management. People don't want to pay. There are unit economics are a challenge with landlords and tenant. It's effectively building a secondary market business in a fragmented market. And Brazil has the same challenges as India has, and they have been one of the very few success stories on the secondary markets globally. And that is why they're one of my favorites, because we do want to build secondary market.
Lovely. I'm really glad that you did mention, and kudos to Snapfruit team. And they are doing something really wonderful, without doubt. And I believe the acceptance that they're getting from the market is talking about what they have built already. So now this is the last section where this whole series is being done in association with Realty Plus. And Sapna, who's the editor at Realty Plus, she has a question for you. And we will look at the screen and discuss the same. And let's understand what she has in her mind to ask. Okay.
Thank you.
So Tanuj, it was a great conversation that we just heard. So one question from us is कि अगर square yard एक person है, एक आदमी है, एक बंदा है, what would the day look like? How will you achieve your goals in a day as a person for the square yard? What would be your journey look like, and what would the day look like?
Okay, so I believe it's a little difficult question, and this is our signature question of the format. I'm glad Sapna asked it. I might have missed out else. So yeah, over to you.
Very interesting. I definitely sure no one has asked me this before. If we were a human,
Yeah,
I think that one day would be very chaotic.
I'm pretty sure.
That's how it defines it. We'll wake up in chaos. I think one thing we would have learned very quickly during the day is how to manage inefficiencies, how to manage failures, how to get down and get back again. I have a common analogy actually.
Yeah.
It's like when we are growing up, when we are 15, we think we are very smart. When we become 20, we realize we were stupid at 15, but now we are very smart.
Very smart, yeah.
And the same cycle goes on. I don't know when it's not ended for me yet, but I don't know when it will end.
I'm sure.
I think the same thing has happened to us as an ecosystem,
Right.
and will happen to us as a human if we were a person for that single day. At 11 o'clock, we believe we have cracked it.
Yeah.
When it turns noon, we'll realize we did something stupid
Yeah.
at 11, but
Okay.
now we have done that right, and that story goes on. I think we are still learning. The only thing which has changed is that acceptance that what we are thinking right now
Yeah.
could turn out to be insanely stupid in hindsight, a couple of years down the line. And how that helps us is we believe that we are humble, acceptance that we could be wrong.
Yeah.
More importantly, change management. I think one thing we have done very well as an organization is acceptance to change.
Got it.
We could become a very different organization in 5 minutes.
Got
I believe we have built an insane power
Yeah.
to change our DNA, which is a very rare thing. Not many organizations can change their DNA. We can do that. So again, to answer question in the same paradigm,
Yeah.
we will be a very different person at a 5 p.m. than
Got
we
it.
were in the morning.
Yeah.
Last but not the least, taking everyone along. I think we'll make a lot of friends.
Yeah.
We hopefully won't make any enemies.
Right.
We'll wish luck to everyone else around us, even our peers, even our competitors in the ecosystem. The space is large enough, industry is large enough, and you need multiple players to change the ecosystem. You can't change the ecosystem through single player. And we wish everyone else would also wish the same for us.
Wow. So since you mentioned DNA, I'm gonna keep one last question, which is when you're choosing to marry with the co-founders, what are the 3 traits you're looking into them?
Very simple. Has to be an amazingly nice person.
Okay.
Above everything else, that person needs to have a good heart.
Got it.
We can't handle egos.
Right.
We can't handle larger than life personalities.
Yeah.
So that's very critical. 2, I think there's no replica for hunger. I think that individual needs to believe this is a 20-year marathon.
Got it.
That individual can't be doing this, and we have said no. So there are a couple of amazing assets.
Yeah.
With amazing tech, with amazing platform and potential monetization. I think probably 9 out of 10 organization in our place would have acquired them. or done something very, very closely with them. We said no because we realized the founder will not be here with us in 20 years.
आगे आगे divorce होने के chances हैं.
बहुत high chances है.
Okay,
That
got
person will float around. And C, marrying everyone else in the ecosystem. So it's not just me who they need to work with.
Right.
My job is the easiest. I get undue credit for a lot of things which go right. I barely do 5% of the job. Everyone else around us, whether there are other founders, there are important stakeholders for the other ecosystem, are effectively the people that matter. And how those particular founders gel with the entire ecosystem, very, very critical.
Wow. Thanks a lot, Tanuj, for being so candid. And for all the startups in the PropTech domain, those who are looking at aligning themselves with Square Yard's vision, you now know what are the 3 traits they look into. So let me tell you, to everybody, to the audience, I hope you have had a great day and the last 1 hour listening to this conversation. Do let us know in the comments if in case we missed asking any question. I will make sure that I will bug Tanuj and I'll get the answers for those questions and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And for me, Tanuj, thanks a ton once again. As I told, there's so much that I'm taking back along with me. And it's a very enriching experience because one thing that I always knew that, okay, these guys are on to building an ecosystem. What are the sense behind it, how they're thinking about it. I believe मेरे को आज बहुत कुछ चीजें समझने में मिली and I'm gonna have a good मेरे को रात को नींद नहीं आने वाली कुछ टाइम के लिए because I'm gonna think and I'm gonna ask you questions of this show if in case I stumble upon any, and I hope it didn't bore you and the last 1 hour was an engaging session for you. Thanks a lot for joining in. Any last word from your end?
Thanks again. I think I have only one message. Not just because I'm sitting here at this audience, I tell this to my colleagues as well. Humility, be humble, accept your mistakes. It doesn't cost anything to be wrong. If you are wrong, you're wrong. That's fine. The faster you accept you're wrong, the faster you move on and try and build something nice. And build for the long term. I think I think I'm over exaggerating, but a lot of entrepreneurs I meet are building it for the wrong reasons. Everything else will follow as long as you stick to it. And if you're doing a good job, trust me, everything follows.
Wow. I'm pretty sure I've got a good side and the narrative captured today, because whatever that I've read and seen of you, I believe this side that you have talked over the last 15 minutes specifically is really eye-opening, and it gives a perspective to me at least that, Tanuj before this and to now, I believe I have a far better understanding and I have far more respect as well for you as an individual. And kudos to you and your team for pushing the benchmark for the Indian real estate transaction play. And I believe you guys are filling a very important need gap. And मुझे तो मालूम है कि यार आप मानो ना मानो, मुझे मालूम है कि फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड पोजीशन पे भी आप ही बैठे हो, ये दूर दूर तक कोई पहुंच नहीं पाया है. And I hope and I wish you that this journey continues. Thanks a lot. And thanks a lot everybody for watching this episode. We will be back next Wednesday once again with one more PropTech entrepreneur. Till then, see you.
Thanks everyone. Thank you.